I think when we talk about the image of Serbia, we need to have in mind the image of the whole region. Sometimes at these very important high-level international meetings, sometimes even when I read the media, I have a feeling that there is a frozen picture, that people perceive this whole region, Serbia very much included, as time stopped.
L'ancienne ville capitale de l'ex-Yougoslavie, Belgrade, est toujours un centre pour la vie balkanique. Les jeunes de partout en Balkans viennent ici pour les échanges culturels, les conférences, les séminaires et pour les festivals et les concerts. Les nuits blanches s'étendent sur les péniches de la Sava et du Danube, qui confluent ici à Belgrade. Dans les rues s'exprime la nouvelle société de Belgrade. On arrive à sentir sa pulsation et sa fraîcheur dans une ville riche d'histoire et de l'histoire.
There are these statements or these feelings that there is a lot of nostalgia for the Titoist regime. I simply don't buy it. I think this is more an impression. There is maybe a nostalgia for something else, and that is the former Yugoslavia.
We are here at the Faculty of Physical Chemistry. This is the laboratory where I work because I'm a technical associate here. Serbia was a long time a communist country, and some people might say that it never was a really democratic country since 2000. So it's a process that takes time. You know, you can't undo something that was there for 50 years.
I'm Angela Petkovic. I'm 21 years old.
I'm Viktor Čolić. I'm 23 years old. I think there is a general opinion in Serbia that foreigners view Serbia as a sort of an axis of evil country.
I'm Sonja Licht. I am at the moment, and for the last almost 8 years, the president of the Belgrade Fund for Political Excellence. Yugoslavia was the most multicultural, the most multi-religious, the most multilingual country in Europe. I must tell you, when it was falling apart, I did not see a real, genuine effort from Europe itself and the European countries to keep it together. I don't want to blame them. We, unfortunately, destroyed that country forever. Yugoslavia is gone. It will never be back. What is back is an understanding that we need regional cooperation, economically, politically, security-wise, that we need to find a way how to be really good neighbors. Our development depends on it. And then came, of course, the 90s, which were again very unpleasant because at least in the previous time you were a dissident against the regime. In the 90s, in a way, you were a dissident against, at some points, even the majority of the people.
The early 90s were a really turbulent time in Europe. I mean, the breakdown of the Berlin Wall and the collapse of the Eastern Bloc, and somehow, in the midst of it, Yugoslavia broke apart. Well, unfortunately, what could have been a peaceful breakup ended up in nationalist rants that we all know how they ended. So, how it happened, I can't really explain it, but Milosevic was one of those guys who appeared and claimed to have solutions for everything. I think he became president on a wave of people's fear of future and this image of the strong guy, who can be like the protector.
I always knew that war is a way how to destroyed the very fabrics of society. And unfortunately, this is what we all had to go through.
I consider the 90s personally as a period of complete cultural decadence in Serbia. Literally from popular music to the most serious forms of art, everything decayed.
But in the same time, those were also very, exciting times. A civic resistance was born and civil society was born. Well, Otpor is a phenomenon. Otpor or resistance started as an initiative of young students against the regime, against authoritarian rule, in non-violent ways. But Otpor became a popular movement. At the end of the Milosevic period, there were several 100,000 people, members of Otpor. So Otpor was not only a movement, Otpor was a symbol, Otpor was a state of mind.
There were demonstrations against Milosevic in Belgrade like every 2 years or 3 before, but there never was enough mass. When the NATO attacked Yugoslavia, it was clear that he didn't have support anywhere, and it was obvious that it was Yugoslavia against a world power in a war that it couldn't win. So simply the people became aware that he brought the country to his knees economically, but also he didn't have anywhere to turn abroad. And then on October the 5th, there were around 500,000 people on the streets of Belgrade.
Otpor proved that it is possible to fight very tough regimes with non-violent means. And this is why Otpor is still today a symbol. This is why Otpor was important for the Egyptians and for the Tunisians and for the Georgians and for the Ukrainians. Everywhere you in fact find the famous fist as a symbol of non-violent struggle against dictatorial or authoritarian regimes.
We are a small country on the crossings of the roads. So, we have to balance between all these powers that are around us. It's, I think, a pretty hard position where we are today because, you have Russia pulling this way, the European Union pulling the other way, the US pulling the third. So we're somewhere in the middle and we have to manage.
I'm curious, what did you tell good about Serbia in the recent history?
I think the revolution in 2000, October the 5th, I think that is something we can be proud of.
Because of all the problems we had, the bombing and wars, a lot of people think that almost like every foreigner is a bad person.
Generally, media in the West doesn't mention Serbia unless there is some big event. And unfortunately, most big events in Serbia have been really negative recently. There were, as you know, wars, revolutions, assassinations of statesmen.
L'éducation et le développement de l'enseignement supérieur est au centre de toute transformation de société. Tempus est un programme européen de coopération qui fête ses 20 ans à Belgrade.
C'est vrai que malheureusement dans beaucoup de pays, en France et dans d'autres pays de l'Union européenne, on a encore une image des Balkans qui est une image d'une zone compliquée, avec des conflits. Frédéric Remet, je travaille comme attaché de coopération à l'ambassade de France à Belgrade et à l'Institut français de Belgrade. Un de nos objectifs prioritaires, c'est de favoriser les échanges de jeunes, étudiants, chercheurs entre la France et la Serbie.
I'm not ready to stay here at all costs.
Une des difficultés, effectivement, c'est la crainte de la fuite des cerveaux, qui a été très importante ici dans les années 90, en Serbie et dans les autres pays. Nous, on veut absolument éviter ça. Ce qu'on essaie de promouvoir, c'est les échanges.
The three most powerful European leaders said that multiculturalism is dead in their own countries.
I'm from a mixed marriage, and I come from Subotica, this town in northern Serbia, which has a really mixed population ethnically. So for me, Serbian identity wasn't playing such a key role in my life.
My name is Duško Tobić. I'm professor on University in New Pazar on law department. In the same time, I'm professor on Belgrade University on master course about organized crime, terrorism, and security. Pazar is in the south part of Serbia, where the most percent of people are Muslims.
I fail to understand why people feel that they are closer to people who are the same ethnicity as they are from people who are not.
I think our political class, when I say our, I mean European political class, failed immensely. They did not know how to teach Europeans to be proud Europeans.
I just happened to be born in Belgrade and I happen to have Serbian parents. I'm Angela Petković, I'm a human being.
All of us, Muslims, Catholics, Protestants and Orthodox, are the representatives of one state of Serbia.
In order to help every single European understand that the other is not a danger, that the other is not a threat, we must all try to develop a much more participative way of living, a much more serious participative democracy. We need civil society, not only as a rhetorics. We need civil society as a way of life. We simply must maintain some type of multicultural or intercultural communication, dialogue. I believe myself that without that, Europe is not Europe anymore. Europe was always multicultural.
I want to live my life not with boundaries like you're Serbian and you're Croatian. I don't care.
Belgrade était une ville qui était la capitale des non-alignés, donc il y avait une tradition d'accueil de beaucoup d'étudiants étrangers. Malheureusement, tout ça a disparu dans les années 90 et les gens rêvent de voir Belgrade redevenir une ville cosmopolite. C'est un pays où il y a encore besoin de temps pour faire beaucoup de réformes, il y a encore des héritages du passé. Le plus difficile, c'est que voilà, la crise économique et sociale, beaucoup de gens vivent dans des conditions sociales très difficiles, il y a quand même beaucoup de pauvreté dans ce pays.
I don't want to leave, and I believe neither do you, because we think, I don't know, that there is some utopia out there.
No.
It's not because I don't like this country or I don't love it. It's not because any of these issues. It's because I want to go for my dreams. There is hope. There are much worse places on earth to live than Serbia.
The Balkans moved a lot from the end of the 90s. I think we are almost a success story.
La Serbie est un carrefour immense et parfois insaisissable. C'est un mélange entre le temps et l'espace. Elle a une réputation assombrie, mais au final, c'est un pays que nous connaissons mal. La Serbie est un pays où l'histoire n'a pas pris froid. La Serbie vit toujours, comme beaucoup d'autres pays des Balkans, dans les suites de nos guerres européennes. Les investigations de crimes sont toujours en cours et le seront encore pour longtemps. Cette nation d'exception, par définition multiculturelle, prend aujourd'hui une conscience de son potentiel. Son futur est tangible dans cette ancienne ville capitale. Nous ne pouvons plus l'ignorer, nous ne pouvons que l'intégrer, apprendre et nous laisser séduire.